Ed, you let me know when you're ready.
I'm always ready.
You're always ready. You're always watching. You're on?
The people are watching, yes.
Okay, it's 5 o'clock. I am going to open the hearing on the matter at hand. Will everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do a quick roll call. Selectman Keys is going to be late. Sue, you're present?
Present.
Smith is present. So we have 3 items on the agenda tonight. The first one is the demolition of 15 Moltenville Road. That's the old Main Street building, which is actually a town building. The next 2 items are going to be the sale of the police station at 7 Door Street and the purchase of 43 Chickville to replace it. So I'm going to open the hearing on 15 Moltenville Road, the demolition, if there's any questions. Let me just add 2 things before I open it up. Last night we had the Planning Board and Conservation Commission review as required by statute. They voted unanimously to support the decision to demolish 15 Moltenville Road. We were also sued by the organization that used to occupy that facility. The judge granted overwhelmingly in the town's favor in less than 24 hours. So we are within our right to do as we are proceeding to do. This is the formality of getting there. So with that being said, is there any input on that from the public? Go ahead, Jim, and then Kathleen.
Question, I'm curious,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? What's precipitated the removal of the building?
So the purpose is we're going to make it the parking. There's a lack of parking downtown. We get questions all the time when the Freight House parking lot is full. There's just not enough parking. People ask all the time, where can I park, where can I park? The whole idea too is to expand concerts at the park, maybe bring back farmers markets so you have people can park. Without parking, no one can come. A side note to that, as a state rep, I have a rail trail bill which will put a rail trail in from Center Ossipee, Moltenville Road up to Route 113 in Madison, that 10-mile section. It has passed the House unanimously. It's going through the Senate as we speak. It came out of the Transportation Committee unanimously in favor. It's going on consent. So that means normally when it's on consent, it's going to fly through the Senate. The governor will sign it. DOT is behind the idea. So if and when that happens, demand for parking will outstrip even that parking lot that we plan on putting in there.
So how many parking spaces can you get in that?
So we just had it surveyed. Well, we knew where the pins were. We just had it realigned, recertify the boundaries. And it's a lot bigger than it appears to your eye because it actually was further back into the wood line and to the right.
Yeah.
We're guessing 20 with a one-way in and out. You come in off Moltenville, it's going to be angle parking, and then you're going to go up and around, out behind the gazebo and go into the other parking lot.
So are you going to put a retaining wall there because
Yes.
that slopes up?
Correct.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kathleen.
Yeah, Kathleen Maloney. I understand someone from the town went in that building and found mold and it was reported. Why didn't anyone go and take it out?
I can't speak to the reason. When did that happen?
I don't know, I was told about it.
No, there is mold. There's no question there's mold in it. That's why the cemetery trustees stopped utilizing that, because when they sit in there, their heads would get congested. Sure. State your name,
The
please.
reason why this can't be on a Zoom meeting,
Just state your name, please.
I'm Karen Barron,
Okay.
you know who I am.
I know, we need it
I
for the
live on
record.
Chickville Road. I wonder why this can't be on a Zoom meeting. I'm hard of hearing, I cannot hear in these acoustics. And I can't follow any meetings because they're not online, and I didn't find out about this until 3:15 today.
Okay.
Because I happened to look at the website and
Right.
saw it.
So the agenda was posted as required by law. Mr. Honorable Ed Comeau here through Government Oversight live streams these. So this is being live streamed as we speak, as along with all our meetings.
So what are you gonna do with the property?
That's what Jim, I was just explaining to Jim, we're gonna improve
I'm
parking.
sorry I was late.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna improve parking there,
And why?
because there's a shortage of parking downtown.
Because of what?
There is a shortage of parking downtown
For whom?
for the public.
For what public?
the population of the town, visitors?
Because we have plenty of parking for OCC and the lunchtime crew. They come over and there's no complaints about parking.
Right, that's.
I just
OCC.
don't see what's happening to this town.
You missed the beginning, okay, I'm gonna go back since everyone just came in. Last night, we had the Conservation and Planning Board review of what we're doing here today. They voted unanimously to support the idea that the selectmen are proposing. I just wanna make that clear.
Thank you.
I explained to Mr. Rhines here, we're hoping to get 20 additional parking spots at that location. We're looking to enhance music events at the gazebo area, farmers markets. I also have, there's a rail trail bill as a state rep that is going to become law. It's through the House unanimously, it's through the Senate Transportation Committee, it's going to the full Senate, it's going to come out of there, and it's going to the governor. If that rail trail occurs, there's going to be a huge demand for parking. Probably outstrip what that lot can add.
Now, what's the reason why that this property here on Moultonville Road cannot be cleaned up? As many houses in the area get cleaned up with mold issues.
We're already past that point.
You passed that point, and to what respect? Like, how far is the mold into the property?
No, we're past the point of rehabbing that building. This is a hearing about demolishing the building.
And what are you going to do about the $2,500 thing that the voters voted on for these?
I'll answer that. That's separate from this hearing. We're not expending those funds, as we have the authority not to expend those funds. And that was upheld by the judge.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions on this?
Sorry, we came in a little bit late,
Sure.
and I'm not sure where we are actually in the process of this.
We're still discussing 15 Moultonville Road.
Okay, I'm Lynn Clark, Ossipee, New Hampshire. To Karen, when she was sharing or asking the question about where you mentioned last night's meeting with the Conservation Commission and the Planning Board, they did recommend for demolition. But before you had them vote, you also told them that it was non-binding, whatever they did vote, which I, as a Conservation Commission board member in the past, would find that, I wouldn't feel like I was doing my duty justice if I had my selectmen say that to me before making a vote and not giving me the information before making the vote. And as far as the parking proposals, I know that was something I mentioned last night. We have several resources where parking proposals were brought forth during the inception of Main Street program. The most recent was 2009, and I had asked that be looked at by both boards before considering their recommendation. And as far as the businesses that you mentioned, I believe it was the April 1st meeting, half of those businesses are not even operating at the moment. So that's less parking that we need for that. And then I was curious, have the abutters been notified
Regarding,
regarding the demolition?
there's no requirement to notify the abutters.
Okay. And I know it was mentioned
This is that process. This is notification.
Okay, the DES, you had mentioned Matt last night, you had contacted. Who was it that you spoke with?
We submitted an intent to demolish form to DES in an official capacity. So,
Okay.
it's not a person, it's a department.
Because I spoke with somebody, and it was Peg Bastian, who was in the Petroleum and Remediation Division, and she suggested that usually when there's a demolition, especially regarding a property like that we have an environmental soil assessment plan done, and they would review it as a courtesy to our town if that is done. And from Main Street's perspective, all we've been trying to do is have public input regarding this matter. There have been, I've told you, hundreds of people, families, generations that have worked on different things at one capacity or another for activities in the town and use that building. The whole planning around the downtown area that Main Street has worked on was because of that park with that building there, the gazebo put in place, and everything that was put in the proposed plan has been done pretty much by Main Street through the years to get it to where it is today. And so that was my concern, is just to have the public to have input and have an understanding of what is happening. And I don't think that's been done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other input on this?
I think that the hearing should have been held at a later date. I think it's certainly been rushed along, so many people are not aware of it. And I think that should be remedied.
Okay, this has been talked about now for 5 weeks. Any more input?
I can't hear.
I said this has been
This is the
spoken
first
about for about
public
5 weeks now. It's been in the newspaper, the public is aware of it. Go ahead, Edwina.
So is this considered a first hearing?
Yes,
Okay, so there'll be another hearing?
correct. There will be.
Okay, and so Edwina Booth, I was at the meeting last night, as was Lynn, and there was only one other public person there, which was my husband. I'm sorry that more people aren't showing up, so they can really learn and listen to why the building is being torn down. I thought it was a great hearing last night. There were a lot of questions asked of the planning board and of the conservation board. It was not filmed, so I just wanted to say that so it's on the record. I asked about the building, I've not been in it, but through the questions that were asked, it sounded to me like the building during the day is locked. There is not a possibility to use the toilet or to use the water anyway. And when they've had old home week activities or other activities, they've been told not to use the toilet. So it has not been open to the public for usage. Marie said even, I can't remember if it was the Girl Scouts, I can't remember what the meeting was or what the group was. I know they mentioned the cemetery at one point, but they were specifically told they absolutely could have their meeting there, but they couldn't use the toilet or the water. So, and they stopped using it because of the mold, because it was not a healthy place to be. So I think, there's the Main Street program itself has been wonderful and can still meet. It can meet here, it can meet in the library, it can meet in the Freight House, but the building hasn't been open to the public. So it hasn't really been used all that much, at least my understanding from last night.
It's had no public benefit really in a long time.
So I understand, I think I can understand from the questions. I've been at every meeting. I'm not just learning about it from social media or from the newspaper. I think it's the right thing to do.
Thank you for the input. Any other public input on this matter?
I just have a question if I can get that.
Sure.
So the mold, I know, I forget TJ the exact date, but when it was discovered, and I was approached by someone in the town who works for the town that they were under the building last summer, and for what reason I'm not sure, and that they noticed a lot of mold under there, and it was a health hazard, she felt. And I said, well, why wasn't it reported to the town, or what's the town doing about it? And I get a shoulder shrug. So, and that's another concern I have, because if that is a health issue and it wasn't reported and there were people in the building, that's very concerning.
Okay, thank you.
And I don't know if that's what the urgency is here for the demolition, but I would like to hopefully have some clarification on that.
Okay, thank you. Any other public input? Okay, got anything to add, Sylvan? No? Okay, being no further input on 15 Maltonville Road, I'm going to close that part of the hearing. I am going to open the hearing on the purchase of 43 Chickville Road, along with the sale of 7 Door Street. So I'm going to give a little background on this. So we were approached by New Hampshire Electric Co-op going back, I don't know, a month or so. You'll see pictures up here. They're selling the building, they're consolidating their public services into 2 different locations. They have no longer use for it. So immediately we thought about a police department. We went and toured the facility with the police department, along with myself, Public Works, built.
Sorry, let me shut this down.
Yeah. Toured it along with the Public Works Town Administrator, and we were overly impressed with the condition of the building, the layout, the space. It's 6,100 square feet. It has 2.8 acres. It's incredible condition. Co-op has maintained this thing meticulously, everything from the heating system to the structure itself. The purchase price is $699,000. The way we're going to pay for this without no new taxation is we have $260,000 in ARPA funds. We're also selling the old building at 7 Door with a realtor for $399,000. So theoretically, if we walk away with $350,000 on that, that brings us right to $610,000. The other $90,000 we are going to find in the general operating budget between various departments, including the police department. The building doesn't need anything on the inside except for some.
Sorry.
That's okay. The building doesn't need anything on the inside other than just some non-structural wall realignment, just office space, just realignment for the needs of the department. It's just state-of-the-art, everything from the on-site generator, they have a huge communications antenna. PD's going to have an impound yard there. The technology that's already within the building on the communication side, the floors are heated. It's got secondary uses for the highway department. And when we come in the winter time, we'll be able to store the water truck in there that we use, get the grader out of the elements here, put it inside a heated space. Tires, it's got a loading dock with a crane that the highway department can use. So this is actually primarily a police department with a small benefit for the highway department. It's just an incredible opportunity. Some other examples, so if you paid attention to the paper, Conway just had it fail. They were putting an expansion on their PD. The cost was $8.8 million. Wolfboro's in the process now of doing an expansion on a public safety building, $14.4 million. You saw in the paper, Freiburg has a big proposal for a big facility, $16 million, $700,000. This will cover the police department most likely in perpetuity, meaning we're not going to have to spend millions on a new public safety police department in the future. This is going to carry us through. There's so much room there. It's adjacent to the transfer station. This is an ancillary benefit, but there's one monitoring. Want to speak to the well?
Yeah, there's multiple monitoring wells for the landfill at the transfer station. And DES has recently cut the limits of different PFAS, all this other stuff that we have to test for in those monitoring wells down to so low. If we have a high reading on a well, we have to notify every well within 1,000 feet. Well, we would own the well that's in 1,000 feet, so that would be a benefit to us. We'd still have to address it, but it cuts down on what we would have to do in order to stay compliant.
Trying to think of anything else I could add. Chief, you want to add anything on it in particular, or before I open it up to questions?
I think the current location we have currently is outdated, and I think the expansion for a new building at this cost would greatly increase the police capability of what we can do for Ossipee. Just evidence alone, even an interview room is not possible where we're currently at. So I think with the amount of money that they're asking for this property, it would have huge benefits for the town. And there's so much more room that can be used. Just, what was it, 3 acres?
2.8. Yeah.
2.8 acres that, with impounds, recently we've been seizing vehicles for search warrants and we're throwing them in our garage. This way here, it's just so much room. It's endless for this town. Anybody have any questions for me?
So yeah, I'll open it up for public questions on specifically the purchase of 43. Sure.
What's going to happen with the current police station?
We're
Is that
selling-
going to be torn down to and made parking places?
No, they're gonna sell it.
No, as I said initially, we're selling it. We have a realtor for $399,000. And those proceeds are going to help pay for this facility.
So it doesn't come out of the taxes at all?
No, there'll be no taxation from this, zero. We're going to be able to cover it with the funding we have and the sale of the building. This is an incredible opportunity to get to bring the department into the 21st century, and think 10, 15, 20 years down the road, we will not have to buy a new or build a bigger building. This is going to satisfy the needs.
Yeah, this makes sense.
This is a huge win. Go ahead, Jim.
Jim Rhines from Ossipee. I drove by tonight, I just got back from Florida, and I was curious from the police perspective. It's a mile and a half further out from the center of town, away from school, a little further from Route 16 and getting access, and I just would like to hear. So that's one question. I'll throw two at you, and if it's too complex, let me know. The other is, I didn't think of it, but until I drove it tonight, the sight distance, if somebody's going out of there in a hurry, you don't have great sight distance. So I think fiscally, from everything I've heard, this makes a ton of sense, but I'm concerned that maybe we should make some kind of an expense for an emergency light, like say Wolfboro has, where if the fire department's coming out or the police, they can turn on a light so that somebody doesn't come up over the hill, or police are pulling out in a hurry and somebody comes up over the hill and there's an accident. I just seeing where the doors are, the overhead doors, and coming out, that just seemed like a safety concern.
Yesterday I spent my day driving around from the new station and the old station. You're correct, it's a mile and a half distance from the new to the old. But in the same sense, the new station is easier access to Route 16 and Route 16B, and it alleviates some of the congestion from downtown by the school if there is an emergency. And on the other hand, about response, usually police officers respond from the field itself, not from the station. Yes, it does happen occasionally, but if you exit from the south side ramp, you bypass the hill. But now at the old station, the currently one we have now, you exit out of one area, you can't see around that corner. So I understand what you're saying, and it's probably worse at the old one.
Just the only thing is that's a straight at the new one. It's a straight shot, and having grown up in Ossipee,
yes.
I've traveled that faster than you would have liked me to do.
Well, and it's possible you can't travel that no more.
Yeah, and you can't travel that corner.
Correct.
By the police station too fast.
Yes.
So you've got a lot more reaction time.
Yeah, I think if it's a matter of a light, we're in pretty good shape here to accommodate something.
Your point is valid, Jim,
Yeah.
but it's not like a fire department where the fire trucks are ready and waiting and responding, to every call from the station. Cops are out on patrol generally, once in a while, so it's not going to have you're not going to have the volume of response from the facility itself, but your point is valid.
No, I mean, fiscally, it makes all the sense in the world. I just was looking at it from a safety standpoint and wanted to hear.
But the mileage itself is...
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's all right to speak, but I know yesterday you did a good job of articulating going out the other way if you were responding to Hannaford. If it was Route 16 season,
yes,
you were satisfied with...
0.6 of a mile difference from the new to the old. Say from the new station to Hannaford, going 16, 0.6 of the difference from the old station, if you went Main Street that way.
Yeah, the only one I was thinking of is, with all the crap you see in the news about school problems, you're
that alleviates this here
from the school.
Yes.
So that's, but again, I know it makes perfect sense to me fiscally. I just wanted to hear what the police had to say about some of those concerns.
I do have a letter here from the fire chief, from Dana Cullen. I'm going to read it for the record. He's also our emergency management director. Thank you. It's a letter of support for the purchase of the electric co-op building. I would be in full support of this purchase. I have listed a few very positive comments in support of the purchase. This would keep the PD in the general geographic center of town as the public is used to, avoids exclusive use of Route 16 to access the southern end of town during busy summer traffic days, places the PD outside the somewhat congested downtown area in the event of an incident in that high volume area. More than adequate as a backup emergency operations center should it be needed. And that is a great point. I didn't even think about that buying it. If you have a major, that you got 6,100 square feet, so we'll just leave it at that. With those points addressed, the value of this facility brings to the town monetarily would be hard to beat, given the cost of several municipal buildings built recently in our area. Already being fire alarmed, generator, and radio mast equipped are huge positives which have very high tax implications if completed from scratch. This is one of the best decisions the town of Ossipee has made in recent years, a great opportunity to spend wisely and upgrade a centuries-old facility. In closing, I believe it is time to get the police officers of Ossipee an adequate, safe working environment that will fit the town's needs for years to come. I hope the townspeople will support the project also. Respectfully, Dana Cohen, Center Ossipee Fire Chief. So, I appreciate that input. Great. So, any other questions on the buying of 43 Chickville or the sale of 7 Door Street, the old police department building?
Lynn Clark, Ossipee.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I just wanted to check, I think it was mentioned last night about the deposit was being made for the building, or that
Rephrase your question, please.
last night, I think it was Matt, I'm not sure.
The town has entered into a purchase and sales agreement already. There's no deposit made.
There's no deposit.
There's a contract in place.
I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Any other questions on either? Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Jim. You got it.
I was just wondering, is there an interested party in the police building?
We haven't put it on the MLS yet.
Well, that's just it.
Yeah.
We held off obviously until it became public. It became
Right.
public 48 hours ago.
Right.
So no, but the realtor strongly thinks that there'll be buyers. He's pretty bullish on it.
It was more of a curiosity.
Yeah. It just, again, this just became public Monday, so. Trying to think if there's anything else I could add to this.
I just think economically too, to have another business downtown as we try to revitalize.
Right.
There's all kinds of benefits.
Correct, that is correct. And does anyone want to come up and you can scroll through the pictures here? I mean, if anyone's interested, you want to scroll through them quick, Matt?
Yeah, David, I had it on the slideshow the whole time. I don't know.
The next hearing, we're going to try to have it at the location in the garage, if the co-op will allow us, so people can actually see the facility, spend 10 minutes walking around, and understand exactly what the building's about.
What time of the day?
It'll be in the evening, like this, as long as the co-op gives us permission to do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I'm wondering, do you think people know the condition of the present police station? Like, how many people have actually seen the conditions there?
Yeah, it's been talked about for years,
Oh.
that we need a new PD. and
So people are aware?
Yes.
Very
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay, I just thought sometimes if they could see, they'd be like, oh, this
Yeah,
is...
it's pretty well known.
Oh, all right, that's good.
It's not an adequate facility.
Do you have any pictures of the inside, man?
You did have a few there.
Yeah, I guess the slideshow doesn't have them. Then I glad to.
You had them up before.
Yeah, we'll go back.
I think it's important to say too, John, that the condition of the police department that we have now is not terrible, but it's not a police department.
Right.
It's not, the facility is not a police department. It's not that it's, in bad shape, it's just not a police department.
Yeah, well, there's gonna have to be a lot of construction in that.
No, not really, because the whole inside, the inside is all floating, the walls are, none of them are load bearing that are inside, so to move a wall in there is gonna be simple.
See, this is all the interior office space now, I'm not showing you, separate from the big garage.
This is the main entry door, and then this is probably where the administrative assistant would have a window for the public. It's all secure back here. It's set up quite well. Very good information security with a secure IT closet. Top notch, everything. All the utilities.
Nice.
Plenty of office space, especially with minor reconfiguring. A proper break room we'll get to here in a minute. Proper bathrooms.
Got a shower.
Got a shower, can have real locker rooms, kitchen area. Just everything we were kind of hoping to see. so.
So what you were asking about, if you look, one more. That all right there is just a floating ceiling. So all the walls, I actually was up there with the chief, and he was saying where walls would need to be moved. It's just as simple as actually taking that wall out and building another wall. Nothing is load bearing in it. When you look down over that, there's that like wall there. You look down there, you're looking right on the ceiling tiles. So everything can be moved fairly easily. Oh, there, you can see it right there. See the walls right there? You can see it.
This is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And are they throwing in free electricity?
There's a very nice generator on site, though, Jim. That's saying.
Go ahead,
So
Lynn.
I know the chief mentioned last night, speaking of that, the generator.
Yes,
You
during
were
that
about
last
power,
storm,
which we get towed on the back part.
the current police station we're in had no power. It was very limited with the small generator that they have. So these officers, including myself, we had no access to certain items in the station. This generator here is pretty large, and it currently has 611 hours on it, so in my opinion, it's brand new. That will, and I'm sure every single outlet in that building is powered by that generator. The radio tower, the co-op used that to get their money, to send bills out, and then they receive their money. So you imagine the sophistication with that system that's installed. I talked to the fire chief today. It's a good spot to put another repeater in for his agency along with ours in this area. And it might be worth it to maybe have a cell phone company put something on that tower for better cell service. There's a lot of benefits just from the exterior of this building for this town and surrounding towns with the tower itself. And we would have power if there was another storm.
Go ahead.
When will the second hearing be held?
Probably not next week, the week after, roughly.
I don't want this to be official, but probably the Tuesday of Memorial Day, as we come back from a 3-day weekend, it would be that Tuesday. I think that's the 28th, right around there.
The end of this month?
Correct. Correct, but you have to, obviously, that's subject to change, because
Effectively notice?
yes. Yep. Any other questions on this? I just think it's incredible. Go ahead, Lynn.
And one more.
Go.
So where were they posted today, by the way?
Where was what?
The meeting?
Online and at the required posting location.
It's the post office out front here and online.
All right, I'm just curious how it could be posted 24 hours before a meeting.
Yes. Yes,
And
they
the
were.
post office didn't open until what time today?
They were posted yesterday.
Okay. Yesterday, the only thing I saw on the website was the Planning Board and Conservation Commission meeting.
It was posted.
Where was it posted? In your
It
website?
was posted, if you go to the calendar, you're gonna see where it's posted. It's posted with more than 24 hours.
Okay.
25 hours.
Right, it was 25 hours.
And the post office, it was posted last night
Yep.
at 10:05.
What time were they set over to the post office?
Right, yeah, right at closing. I mean, they all went right at the end of the day. If I can, for some reason, our website just says, our connection isn't.
We post it like every other meeting.
Quick advance.
Yeah, there's just, to me,
Then tell it to
it's
go
kind of
ahead.
impossible to post it when the post office is closed. 24 hours notice.
It was posted. Go ahead.
I
Susan.
apologize. Unfortunately, I go to the post office every day, and I check the website every single day. Unfortunately, I had doctor's appointments today and did not go to the post office. And my husband just said to me, they're meeting at 5 o'clock, and I was like, what? And I am on top of it all the time, and unfortunately, I didn't see it. So I was disappointed.
Well, it's posted, we can't,
It got posted here at 4:50 yesterday.
it's right there.
I just like to put a plug out as a side note. If anybody wants to stay really up on things, it's as simple as coming here and doing subscribe to news, and then you'll get a blast every time we
Well, that's good to know.
We post something.
Thank you, that's good to know.
I thought-
Listen, I thought since the elections,
We have thousands,
I've
there's thousands that are signed up for the news blast, or anything that goes on there, you get it in your inbox. And there's thousands that use it. Go ahead, Jim.
I just, to that end, my wife let me know yesterday, because she's a subscriber, and I think I am too. and
Right, so
She told me yesterday, hey, there's a hearing
Right.
tomorrow night.
So Jim got notice yesterday, because he was signed up. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anyone want to add anything before I close the hearing? No. Last chance for questions. Again, hopefully the next hearing is at the location itself. We're going to try to get permission to co-op so you can actually see it hands-on. That's always the best way. That is the goal. So. Okay, looks like no further questions. I make a motion to adjourn this hearing. All those in favor? Aye.
5:35.
I haven't been on the second